Hey girl, real quick. I'm so excited about the new habit-based fitness app I just launched, and I want to invite you to come check it out because I know it will finally help you stay consistent and see and feel results. The programming was created with you in mind. Come get a free 7-day trial inside of the Training for Life app at trainingforlifeapp.com. I can't wait to see you in there. Okay, let's get into the show. Hey girl, do you wish you could make your healthy habits stick, but life keeps getting in the way? Are you tired of diet culture telling you to shrink yourself when you'd rather just find true food freedom, move your body for joy, and feel and look good in your favorite leggings? Then you're in the right place. Think of this as Atomic Habits for women. Hey, I'm Emily Nichols, habit and fitness coach, millennial mom, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. I'm here to tell you there is an easier way than what we've been taught about health and our habits. How do I know? Because I've gone from former chronic dieter to habit hacker through the power of the system that I'm now going to teach you so you can finally stop dieting and just train for life via your habits. Remember, it's not your fault your healthy habits haven't stuck. We just have to do them differently. Are you ready to habit hack your health? Then let's do this. You're listening to episode 270 of Habit Hack Your Health. Hey girl, welcome back to the show. How is your morning going? If you're listening to this in the morning or later in the day, did you hit the snooze button? Did you pop right up? Did you take some time to take care of yourself? Or was it just a rushed morning where you're trying to get ready for work and hopefully get your kids out the door with all that they need for school as well? Mornings can go one way or another for sure. Now, I want to share this quote from Louise Hayes. I love it. She says, "How you start your day is how you're going to live your day. And how you start your day is the way you live your life." Now, let's talk about this a little bit more. What do you do when your alarm goes off? Most of us might hit snooze once or twice or even multiple times, and many of us immediately grab our phones and check our emails or immediately start scrolling social media. We all do it, right? I've joked with my clients in the past about how I used to be the late cancel queen. I used to sign up for these early morning spin classes, set my alarm for like 4:30 a.m., with the best of intentions to get up and go take a spin class before my kids got up. And then I would hit snooze. And then I would hit snooze again. Then maybe again. And then it would be too late for the class, so I would just go back to sleep. Or when I did wake up, I would just roll over and just start scrolling my phone. And I actually felt worse, right? I knew when I actually made it to these classes, I felt amazing after, and it carried throughout the rest of my day too. This stopped after all those late cancel fees added up. My husband was like, "Girl, what are you doing?" But also, after I leaned more into habit hacking and the reward part of that workout, I started craving how I felt afterwards, and it made me stop hitting snooze and pop out of bed to go take that spin class. Now, there are actual science-backed benefits of having some type of morning routine, right? Past research has shown that a consistent morning routine can actually reduce stress, boost your energy levels, and improve your productivity at work. I'm for real. I know when I used to run early mornings with my girlfriends in our running group, I would come home and I was like, I'm going to get the dishes done, get the laundry going, I'm going to shower, get ready for work. And that energy would just continue throughout the rest of the day. It was amazing. So what are some other examples of how you start maybe the first 5 minutes of your day? Let's make this a little tinier, right? The first 5 minutes of your day could include just prayer, breathing, meditation, make your bed, 5-minute gratitude journal, or what we're talking about today with our guest, Lizzie Brown. You could use the Yoga Wake Up app. So let me tell you a little bit about Lizzie. Lizzie Brown is an entrepreneur specializing in mental wellness and consumer tech. Prior to co-founding the award-winning Apple app of the day, Yoga Wake Up, she spent a decade developing emerging fitness and wellness brands and personalities, notably Carbon38 and Fabletics. Okay, so Lizzie has founded the Yoga Wake Up app, and I love this concept so much. And I wanted to have her come on the show and talk about this for a few different reasons. I love being able to utilize technology to our advantage versus our disadvantage, right? Like scrolling first thing in the morning. And as a yoga instructor myself, which by the way, you can grab a free yoga flow from me at bit.ly/free yoga with Emily. That's linked below for you if you just want to see what a yoga flow with me looks like. And BTW, there are a series of yoga flows coming to the Training for Life app later this month as well. I'm putting the final touches on them. Then I got to film them for you. I can't wait. Now, I love this conversation with Lizzie about how to utilize the Yoga Wake Up app to start your day right. And of course, to utilize habit hacking to ensure this becomes a habit. Now, make sure you stick till the end for my top takeaways and some habit hacks. And Lizzie has a code for you as well for the Yoga Wake Up app. Okie dokie, let's get into this conversation with Lizzie Brown of Yoga Wake Up app. Okay, gang, thank you so much again for tuning in to Habit Hack Your Health. I love bringing you guests that I just really know you are going to connect with and are speaking the language that we need as far as like atomic habits for women and making movement part of our routine and a lifestyle. And that is just what Lizzie Brown of Yoga Wake Up is going to do with us today. So Lizzie, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I love the content you're getting out there.
Thank you so much. I so
Yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate it. It's definitely a big part of my heart, as I know what you do is as well. So, all right, girly. Well, the first question I ask every guest is, what is your favorite habit hack? Like, what is saving your life right now?
Well, I have a bunch, but my favorite lately has been actually showering as soon as I get out of bed.
Ooh.
It's something that I'm doing because I head over to my yoga practice, which is Ashtanga yoga, and the teachers give hands-on adjustments. So it's actually a courtesy to them to come, ready for them to be up close and personal. And I know that if I shower after I get out of bed, it will set me up for the day. But it also, there's a 99% chance that I will get in my car and go to this Ashtanga class.
I love a good trigger like that for sure.
Mhm.
You're doing it for someone else in the back of your mind too, so that definitely helps hold you accountable. Do you ever do a cold shower at the end?
I add cold at the end during the summertime, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those cold plunge people yet. I've given it a try,
Yeah.
but it's an adjustment
For
switching to
sure,
cold.
for
Mhm.
sure. Yeah, I'm here in Indiana in the Midwest, and I love a cold shower, but once it turns winter, I'm like, no thanks, no thanks, for sure. Well, I can tell you a shower is worse than an actual cold plunge, so you do just fine with an actual cold plunge, Lizzie, for sure. All right, well, can you briefly just tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what is the story that has led to who you are and what you do today?
Okay, well, I'm originally from Gainesville, Florida. I moved to Los Angeles just over 20 years ago, which just is crazy. I started my career in PR right out of college and started working in fashion PR. It evolved into working with fitness and wellness brands, and I don't know if you kind of can recall that time, like back in it was around 2008 when Lululemon was on the scene and all of the athleisure brands were really hitting. And I found my career evolving from fashion into fitness, which was really, really quite nice. And interesting too, because my first job was working at a gym. So I had been thinking about movement and physical fitness and health for a long time, but kind of got sidetracked there for a bit into fashion. And I met my husband in 2013, and he was an app developer. And I never thought that I would be working in the apps business. I loved what I did in PR, and I continue to still, practice PR because it's something that you can do. You can really, incorporate it into your life with anything you do, really. But he really wanted to work on an app together, and we worked on a few apps together. And the first one that really started to, that we thought showed promise, was Yoga Wake Up, and it was a really exciting ride. We did a Kickstarter for it, and we, got all of our friends and family on board, And we've since had a lot of love from Apple. The app has been featured in new apps we love and in the developer spotlight, and we're part of their entrepreneur camp. So it's been a really great journey, and yeah, it started out as a solution to the snooze because my husband actually he came up with the idea in a yoga class um, that started in Shavasana. And Shavasana is something that most of us think about you do it at the end of class to close out a yoga practice. But this teacher had something different in mind, and she started the class with Shavasana and asked people to imagine waking up from a relaxing night of sleep, wiggling their fingers and toes, and easing into their day. And then she announced, "Good morning." And he came home and he said, "Maybe this will solve your snoozing issue." And so we've been together 2 years, and I think he thought, is this what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life? Waking up 30 minutes before we're supposed to wake up and hitting snooze 3 times. So he gave it a try on me. And now, I mean, as you heard before, I'm an early riser. I get going quickly. So it's worked, and I hope it's worked for others too.
That's beautiful. I love that that light bulb went off for him and that the way that evolved. And I love doing Savasana as an instructor, as a student, and just you kind of have a lot of clarity that comes to you in that moment. And I love the idea of kind of incorporating that first thing part of the day. Now, can you just tell everyone briefly, Lizzie, what is Yoga Wake Up?
Yes, good point. So yoga wake up is an alternative to your alarm clock. So it's like a mindful alarm clock, and it features hundreds of audio guided practices, including yoga, breath work, meditation, affirmation, and they're designed to help you start your day on a more positive note. So they can be 5 minutes or up to 15 minutes. And we've got a variety of teachers and voices and styles and personalities. So I always tell people, if you don't, if yoga is not for you, or if you went to a class and you didn't enjoy it, this is, try somebody else. And 80% of the people who use the app actually are beginners to yoga. They don't classify themselves as yogis. So we find that it's kind of an entry point into starting a yoga practice and just living a more yoga inspired life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's demystify yoga here for a second
Yeah.
too. I love that so many folks are beginners. This is a good gateway into someone finding their own personal brand, if you will, of yoga practice. But can we kind of demystify? I think sometimes when people think of yoga, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so boring. My mind wanders, or people are, super flexible and doing all these crazy moves, and I can't do that. Can we just
Right.
demystify yoga for a second?
Well, definitely, and you're right. Some people think it's boring, and other people think it's too sweaty, or other people think it's um, you know uh, too challenging. I mean, there's so many different opinions around what yoga is, and I mentioned the style of yoga that I've been practicing for the last year is Ashtanga, and that is an entirely different kind of practice. That is self-guided, that doesn't necessarily require going into a studio, although it is helpful for accountability. I say yoga is it's different for everyone. And I think what I love about it is that it really meets you where you are and you can evolve with it. That's why they call it a practice. And it's something that I like. The beauty of it for me is I've been practicing now for, over 20 years. And it's changed as I've changed. And I know I'll be doing, my mom practices yoga, in her 70s. And so I know that it's something I'll be doing for the rest of my life. It'll look different. And I think once you are, I mean, of course, I drink the Kool-Aid. I love it. But it's a mindset too. So once you are on that journey, you can practice 5 minutes in a day, or while you're walking, or while you're driving your car. So I think it's something that brings resilience and joy and relaxation, of course, and it's scientifically proven to be good for us.
Yes, that's true. I love how much you recognize that it's a practice and it's personal for each individual. And whether you're using something like your app or doing a virtual yoga class or an in-person class, the person taking you through it is just your guide. They're there to help guide you through whatever that experience, whatever you need in that practice, and feeling it through your body and your breath and any emotions that come up. That's what I personally love about yoga, is that it's just different for everyone, and everyone can have a completely different experience. And like you said, it's a great tool to help you, like we always say here, train for life. I would love to be doing yoga well into my later years as a grandmother someday, because you can change your practice as you go through different seasons of life too.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Yoga Wake Up. And it's literally just the first 5 minutes of your day. So, why does the first 5 minutes matter so much? And how can we make them count, or sometimes maybe work against us?
Definitely. So when I think about the first 5 minutes, it's really, I'm going to turn it around for you. It's really about what happens when you spend those first 5 minutes doing something that's not so good for you. Like if you wake up and like I used to do, if you and 67%, I have stats on snoozing. 67% of us wake up and snooze our alarm. It's a lot. And you just think about what's happening when you're snoozing 2 or 3 times, you're actually creating sleep inertia. You're groggier as a result. Or worse, if you're waking up and you're maybe like scrolling on your phone, which who actually does that for 5 minutes, right? Like you pass the time and you lose, you can lose, I don't know, 5, 10, 30 minutes to scrolling on your phone. And that's really, I think of it as like it's relinquishing control of how you want to spend your day. Like it's kind of like allowing social media and FOMO and comparison to kind of hijack your day and hijack your morning, as opposed to waking up and doing something for you. So that first 5 minutes, to me, the benefit of it, and there's plenty of scientific research around what happens, what is actually going on in the brain and the body when we first wake up, which I won't speak to because I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you that if you are starting your day with something like a conscious, healthy choice, like meditation or gratitude or journaling, or even, deciding, like my decision to shower or to go outside and get some sunshine. There's so many different things that we can do with that first 5 minutes, but are you taking control of it and actively choosing to start your day in a positive way?
That's so empowering too, because that really sets the tone for the rest of your day, right?
Absolutely.
We've all been in that stance where we hit snooze a few times. Now we're running late. We have to hurry and get ready. If you have kids, oh my gosh, the chaos of just getting them ready for the
I
day.
didn't even mention kids. Exactly. I
Oh
mean,
my goodness.
in particular for parents, because mine's 18, so I'm not thinking about things he needs to do when I wake up
Sure.
anymore, thankfully.
Yeah.
But when you are, I mean, it's even that much more important to have that 5 minutes of you time
Oh,
just before, just if you can just spare. I mean, it depends on their age, but if you can spare just a little bit of time to, practice gratitude, or there's a new trend called Herkle-Durkling. Maybe it's not new, but like just lying in bed, just enjoying or appreciating the time before you go out into the world. I think that can do wonders for your mental health.
it's so important. Yeah, you could choose
Yeah.
one way or the other, and you always know, like, gosh, when I wake up, and even just, when my kids were real little, I would get up before them just to like let the dogs out and brew my own cup of coffee. And that was just like such a sacred time. And it was just so
Yeah.
tiny, but that little tiny bit of time to yourself, even 5 minutes will just,
Yeah.
oh, it'll spill over into everything for sure. Well,
Absolutely.
since we are always talking about habits here, I'm curious, Does your app help, or how do you feel like this helps make a habit stick?
Good question. Well, the benefit, so having it on a phone is, it's like a blessing and a curse, right? Because the benefit is that we always have our phones with us. And so, being, we do have push notifications and reminders and a progress tracker. And, I actually, I got my yoga wake up push notification this morning because I woke up to it, and then, it said got distracted, return back, which is so helpful because it's actually giving us that cue to come back and complete your practice. But I think the other side of that, of course, is that we have to have a healthy relationship with our phones. We're actually getting ready to release something that is going to make it even stickier, and make it easier for people to make a habit out of it. And that's utilizing the iOS automations. So definitely when this comes out, it will be up on the app. So I'm excited for people to try it because it will ensure that the app is working perfectly for you every morning without having to, set your alarm. So it's just another way of, automating something so that it is more habit forming for us.
Yes, yes, exactly. Habits are automation. They are automatic behaviors, but doing it at first is the hardest part. So I love that you have the notifications, and that sounds really
Mhm.
gentle, like, oh, got distracted.
Yeah. There's also a notification that I really love that you'll all see when you try out the app is once you complete a practice that afternoon at 3 p.m. you get some reinforcement. You get an intention reminder
Oh,
that is designed to just remind what you practice, maybe what the intention of the practice was, or even just recall your own personal intention. And it's something we've had on the app since the beginning, and it's such a special treat to receive in the middle of the day, just to keep you on track.
that's beautiful. Yeah. I mean, how many times do you, even going to a yoga class in the morning or any type of group fitness class, and then you get in through the rest of the day and
Yeah,
you're like, oh yeah, I
life
felt really
happens.
good after that. That just kind of reinforces like,
Yeah,
yes, that did feel good. My morning just felt so much more calm. I've been so much more focused today. That helps you to show up again the next day, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you said there's a progress tracker on there as well.
there is. Yep, just tracking your daily progress, and you can save your favorites. We're also, we're clever, and so if you practice with a particular teacher, we'll remind you that that teacher has other practices, and try something else with them because, um, yeah, I think it's important to have that accountability, and it does feel like you're developing a connection with some of the teachers on the app. Yeah, and we also remind you via email, and yeah, you there's lots of reminders because
We're
we
sending
know how
smoke
easy it is.
signals. We're
It's so
like,
easy for us
hey.
to get distracted.
I love that. Well, that's true. And that because that's why women have to do habits differently, right? We have to make it super duper tiny. We have to ensure there's some type of reminder to do it. And then there's also the reinforcement where we're changing our neural pathways because the end of a habit loop is the reward part. So we're changing our
Right.
neural pathways that this feels good. This helps me. And that notification later in the day, like that is just
Yeah.
icing on the cake. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. There's so many things to kind of knock us off track throughout the day.
This
And
is
so
true.
it's helpful to have that reminder. And I didn't mention this, but we have practices that you can fall asleep to as well.
Beautiful.
And that is, again, I mean, it's because it came heavily requested by our customers. And so we added sleep content. And so the sleep content is some of the best content on the app too. But I think the underlying benefit of having that bedtime content is to help really reinforce this as something that you do throughout the day and continue to return to,
Mhm.
because it's the effects are cumulative.
That's right.
The more
That's
you're the
right.
more you're doing it, the better you feel.
That's right. Well, I imagine this is a really good influence on your kids as well, right? Your kids seeing, maybe they get up and they see you in there doing like one of the meditations, or you're going through a yoga flow, or maybe you're listening to it in the car as you're
Exactly.
driving them to school. Like, how does that just really model like positive habits to your kids? And have you seen teenagers or other kids use this, or stories that you've heard of that?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's so important that we, walk the walk as parents. And I'll be honest, in my particular case, so my son, um, I think now that he's gotten older, he's definitely coming around to yoga. But when he was younger, he was like, that's that weird thing my parents do. So, but I do appreciate that I've seen him react calmly or kindly, or in a way that, where he's settled, or taken a deep breath before he's spoken. Little things like that, where you recognize that, okay, they're picking up our behaviors all the time. And if we are, you know consciously, unconsciously, but really consciously making a decision to show up in a certain way in front of them, so that they can see that and take it out into the world. I think it's very important.
I
And
really
you're right, it doesn't necessarily happen when you're on the mat. Like, it happens all the other times that you're, in
Hmm.
front of your kids.
Yeah. I feel like you're planting seeds, right? My boys are 16 and 12, and they would never be like, they'd be like, oh, well, mom's using this app. We're going to use it. They would be like, we're not going to use it because mom's
Yeah.
using it, right? But it
They're
makes me
gonna come
think
around.
they'll come around, right? Ugh, we're in the thick of it right now. You understand. But
Oh yeah.
when they were little, I used to get up before work and I would do like home workouts at home downstairs in our living room. And I remember sometimes they would wake up early and they would come downstairs and they would sit on the couch and they would just watch me. Or when they were really, really little, sometimes they would do like burpees or something with
Yeah.
me. And they've kind of picked up on like, oh, like I can tell my parents are moving their bodies because it helps them be more patient and
Yep.
present. And I see them when they're feeling a little bit anxious or stressed out, they're moving their bodies now too. And I'm not like, you should go exercise, like feel
Exactly.
it's them taking ownership of that. And I think this is such a positive habit to teach your children and just model to them, as this is a lifestyle we do, and hopefully plant that seed for them to feel empowered to do it on their own too.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I commend you, 12 and 16. That is, whew, you are in the thick of it.
I thought I was in the thick of it when they were like 8 and 4, but no. This is totally next level. This is like carrying their emotions. And,
Mhm.
I need something like yoga wake up in the morning when I wake up,
Yeah,
and for 5 minutes, just, okay, releasing the emotions of them, of me, and giving yourself a little grace. And, the beauty of
absolutely.
your app too, which I love, is if you don't do it in the morning, you have just one of those mornings. It doesn't mean you can't come back to it later in the day.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I love this so much. Well, Lizzie, I love this so much. What's next for Yoga Wake Up, and where can everyone connect with you to find out more?
Okay. I'm really excited. We are getting ready to launch a trips and experiences arm to the business, as a means of giving back and encouraging more from the community. So in accordance with the same broader mission of helping people be the best version of themselves, we want to create more in-person connection, because, as you might realize, it's challenging because it's a digital product, and it's everyone benefits from us being in person more. So we're excited to do that. These trips will incorporate adventure, purpose, volunteering, and of course, yoga and meditation. So looking out for that. And then as far as where to find us in the app and on social media. Should I give you social media accounts?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So you can find us at Yoga Wake Up on Instagram and TikTok. We do, you will see my husband and I do some silly dances on TikTok if you go on there,
I love
which
it.
is always fun. And then you can also find us, on all the others,
All the
LinkedIn,
others.
Facebook,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah. And we'll make sure to
Um,
link all that in the show notes. And I know you had a discount code for our listeners,
yes, I
right?
do. Okay, so I have a discount code. The link will be in the show notes, so we'll keep that easy, and you can just click the link from there, and it'll take you right into the app for 25% off a subscription. And the code will be Habit Hack.
Okay. Easy,
Yeah.
easy.
And just so you all know, that breaks down to about $3 a month if you do the year, and everybody gets a 7-day free trial. So
Super. Oh, we'll definitely go try the trial. I'm sure you guys will
absolutely.
love it after a week. I really want you, if you guys get this app, which I feel like everyone should, it would be a good idea to even just be super intentional with even writing down how you feel after you use the app and lean into that, because that's going to really help you create and solidify this habit, which I think would go a long way for all of us.
I love that. Great idea.
Love it so much. Well, Lizzie,
Awesome.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
I so
This was
appreciate you
great.
connecting with you. We'll make sure to link everything in the show notes. And I so appreciate you just sharing your heart and your love of Yoga Wake Up today.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Lizzie, thank you so much for this conversation and bringing Yoga Wake Up to the Habit Hack Your Health community. I love being able to utilize a training for life tool like this, where it's super simple but can have a really big impact in many areas of your life for sure. Okay, as always, let's talk about my 3 biggest takeaways from this conversation with Lizzie and the Yoga Wake Up app. First, let's just talk about 5 minutes at a time, right? I love so much that this is a tiny habit. It is more than likely going to stick because it's not huge, right? Like me trying to go to those spin classes where I was getting all those late cancel fees, for example, that took a little bit more brain power, a little bit more effort to like lay my clothes out, to drive to the place, to take the class and come back. You don't even have to get out of bed for this. You can just like literally like slide out or do like a seated yoga flow, even if you wanted to, or just breathe, setting that intention for the day. I love it because it's more likely going to stick, right? When we overcomplicate it and make it too big, it's not going to happen, because as women, we talk about all the time, we have to do habits differently. We have a lot of tabs open. Even when our eyes pop open first thing in the morning, we already start thinking of all the things we have to do. How beautiful to just take tiny 5-minute increment as you wake up to set your intention and feel amazing for the day. I love it. It's more likely going to stick, girl. Next, thinking about your first 5 minutes of the day, thinking about it in 2 different ways, right? What happens when you spend it doing something good for you? But what happens when you spend it doing something not so great for you, right? If you're scrolling your phone, for example, like most of us do, you're, especially depending on the time of year, like politics are just like all over social media, and I don't want to like hear any of it at this point, right? It's very toxic, and it gets you in a negative mindset, right? Or if you open up your email and there's problems you got to deal with throughout the day, you're already feeling stressed. And then your kids get up and then it's just over from there, right? And that attitude can spill into how you do at work, how you kiss your husband goodbye in the morning if you're grouchy pants or not. Like, girl, I have been on all spectrums of this in regards to in the morning, right? So think of it this way, though. How do you spend your first 5 minutes of your day? Well, what if you do it taking care of yourself? How that spills over. You're more patient. You deal with stress a little bit easier. You have more productivity at work throughout the day and more energy for your family. Gosh, in just a tiny 5-minute habit that can make such a big difference. And then lastly, I like the Yoga Wake Up app because Lizzie mentioned some additional tools like tracking. We love that. And the intention reminder later in the day, right? It's reinforcing the reward part of the habit, right? It's asking you how it felt in the AM when you did that 5-minute yoga wake up app. What was your intention you set for that day? It's a great reward, rewiring, reinforcement part of a habit loop to remind you to keep doing this and rewiring your brain, kind of like I talked about, leaning into the reward part of taking my spin classes. It's going to allow you to get out of bed a lot more easy, stop hitting snooze, scrolling your phone, and do something for yourself instead. So, and we also mentioned this is such a great habit to model for your kids as well. You don't have to like tell them to do it, but just let them watch you. It's Trust me, my kids are 16 and almost 13 now, and they're watching. They've been watching for a long time, regardless if it's a good habit or bad habit, just saying, right? Well, Lizzie, thank you so much again for this conversation. I have the app linked below. Remember, you can use the code HABITHACK to get 25% off a subscription. I think this is a no-brainer. Go check it out. Now, I can't leave you without giving you one last habit hack. This is for sure a Training for Life tool to help you start your day with a great mindset. And what I love so much about it is it will be easier to stick to this if you habit hack it. So let's create a habit loop together. The cue is the Yoga Wake Up app goes off to wake you up. Like that can actually be your alarm, which is a lot nicer than the or all the other sounds if you use your phone like I do for my alarm. The routine, not just do the Yoga Wake Up app, but get up, don't open your email, don't scroll your phone, and take a big drink of water. Already have your Stanley or whatever water bottle you're using right there and start chugging your water, right? The reason I want you to do this is that's going to wake you up more because we usually wake up a little dehydrated, but also you probably got to pee, right? You probably got to pee. So that's just going to reinforce you getting up out of bed. You can go to the bathroom, come back to your Yoga Wake Up app. Those are just a few little tweaks I like to do with my one-on-one clients in the morning. Because otherwise, if you lay there in bed, you might go back to sleep. You might not do it. You might start scrolling your phone, right? Give yourself every advantage. So have that water ready to go. Don't open your phone. Go pee. Do the Yoga Wake Up app. The reward is you're leaning into how you feel, right? On the other side, you're going to really celebrate yourself. This is rewiring your brain to ensure you do this tiny habit every morning. You can even take this a step further. This is a little higher level habit hacking for you. Let me share it with you. You can even follow like a 21-day reward cycle. So over 3 weeks, at the end of each week, you celebrate you doing the Yoga Wake Up app throughout the week. You've tracked it in the app. We love it. Now you're going to reinforce it even more. So maybe the first week, after you do that and you go to work, you go and grab yourself a special like Starbucks drink and have it be a celebratory Starbies for you. I love that. Or go get a cute pair of pajamas one week or a journal. Just grab a journal to write down how amazing you feel. It doesn't even have to be monetary. You can also just sit there and be like, gosh, I feel so good. I love it. Go me, right? So I hope today was useful. It will help you break the snooze habit and create a tiny habit of taking care of yourself in just 5 minutes after waking up. This is such a great habit hack. Let me know if you start utilizing it, and I am rooting for you. I'll see you in the next episode. I am so proud of you for listening to another episode of Habit Hack Your Health. I don't want you to just feel inspired, but I want you to go take action. To help you do that, go grab a free 7-day trial inside of the Training for Life app. This is habit-based fitness programming that you won't find anywhere else. A full fitness library with workouts programmed around what we need as midlife moms and habit trainings and accountability community to help you stay consistent no matter what season of life that you're in. Go to trainingforlifeapp.com to start your free 7-day trial and let's start training for life together. I'm so rooting for you, girl. I'll see you in the next episode.